Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
And tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly are locked and probably loaded.
Hey guys, welcome to Locked and Probably Loaded with DJ and Kelly. I'm your host, DJ Qualls, and I'm here with Kelly Blackheart. Hey Kelly.
Hello. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm probably in better shape than you are. You've
I'm
had
not
a lot
in
to
good
do
shape.
the last few days.
I've been on a run of social engagements. Saturday, we went to a birthday party in Calabasas.
Yep.
To Sagebrush Cantina.
Sagebrush Cantina. It was my friend Trev's birthday.
Hey, Trev.
And Trev is awesome. Trev Lukather. He's got a band called The Effect. Trev is the son of Steve Lukather from Toto. He's with Phil Collins' son, Nick. They started a band. They're phenomenal. Go check them out, The Effect. But he's also just a lovely human being. I've
great.
known Trev for 15 plus years, and he's just the sweetest soul, and really makes he was surprised to see me there. I'm like, why are you surprised? But just really, really lovely.
Yeah, usually it's uncomfortable when you go to somebody else's birthday party, and I was completely comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, also I was at the bar drinking, watching UFC, and texting.
But let's
Ty
talk
the whole
about
time.
getting to Sagebrush Cantina real quick. So we have an Uber come pick us up, and we're about 3 blocks from DJ's house. And he goes, shit, I forgot my phone. And so I was like, oh, sir, we need to go back to the house really quickly, but we'll tip you. And we think that he, heard us and acknowledged us, but then he gets into
we're getting ready to turn on the freeway
lane to get on the freeway, and it felt like the Clueless moment. We're all like,
No, the freeway!
No, the freeway! And so I'm trying to get his attention, and then what I realize, he points to his ear, and he has a hearing aid.
No. First,
I don't think you saw that.
No, I thought he just because he was speaking back in Spanish.
Yeah,
I started speaking Spanish to him.
You started speaking Spanish, and then he grabs his phone and gives me the translator thing. So I speak into this translator. He reads the message, and he's like, okay. And so I put the address into Uber to add a stop to that. But you were still giving him directions in Spanish.
Because I was getting offended because I was like, these are real Spanish words. Don't make it. You know how it's like you're somewhere and you're speaking the local language and you're saying something like you're saying the word croissant.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, God, yeah.
You're saying that, and they're like, oh, what? I can't possibly understand what you're saying because it's not exactly how they say it, but it's what
so
the
you
fuck
thought he was
I'm
being
saying.
Spanish judgmental.
I thought he was judging my Spanish. And so I was like, and I don't have my phone on me, so I feel lost, fearful, and insulted.
It was a very high stress situation for
and
a
also
second.
I was like, once we get on the freeway, we're almost at a point of no return.
Yeah, and if we had made it even halfway, I mean, Calabasas wasn't close either.
Calabasas is far.
We
It's where
definitely
Kim Kardashian lives.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to get all the way there. So anyway, a DJ's giving him directions. I was like, oh, I think he's deaf. And he's like, oh my God, I didn't even notice the hearing aid. And I was like, yeah, it all makes sense then why we initially thought that he acknowledged us and was going somewhere. But
out of principle, I still, for the rest of the ride, spoke to him in Spanish.
yeah. And you did give him a cash tip that he was very pleased with. So
yeah.
So it was hard getting to the party.
And then we get there, and the place is mobbed.
Yeah.
Because the Sagebrush Cantina is one of the only bars and it's a massive space anyway.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's one of the only bars, I think, in that area. And so, it's a Saturday night. Everybody's out, and there's a UFC fight going on. And so
a lot of testosterone in the room.
A lot, yeah. So I sat at the bar, and that's also what was good, because usually when you go to somebody else's birthday, people know that you don't know everybody, so they try to over-engage you. And no one tried to over-engage me. And so I sat there, had a good time, talked to Ty for a while about UFC stuff, because he just loves it so much. And so I got to seem like a good partner and a good party attendee. So anyway, then we get completely loaded. Oh, I was mean to Kelly. I was mean to Kelly at the end of the night, and Isaac's looking at me. I take full responsibility for it.
I didn't know you were going to talk about.
I've apologized for it.
Okay, first of all, you gave the best apology I've ever gotten in my entire life. So I actually did want to talk to you about this. I didn't know we were going to do it here, but
Why not?
What I realized is you said something that hurt my feelings, but there was alcohol involved and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
we were drunk.
The next day you had texted me and you're like, here's what I remember, blah blah blah. And normally I would have been thrilled that you didn't remember, because it would have been my MO to go, oh phew, he didn't remember. I could just say,
So you
we
don't
had a
have to engage
miscommunication.
it?
I don't have to do this, because what I've been trained for in a lot of my life is that if I tell somebody that they hurt my feelings, they turn it around on me and go, well, this is what you did and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But it actually showed me how much I fucking trust you, because I was willing to be honest, because I knew that you were going to receive it well. And then you came over the next day with champagne and flour. Like, I had just gotten off a meeting and you called me and you're
What's
like, come
that
out to
movie
your
with
gate.
with the Zoom?
Say anything.
Say anything?
Yeah. He was standing with a bottle of champagne and flowers over his head and yelled in the street when there's people around. He goes, I'm sorry I was mean to you.
See, the thing is, I woke up and I was like, oh.
We'll superimpose your face on that.
I feel some kind of way, like I may have done something, but I wasn't sure. But my memory of it obviously sides with me. Yeah. Like, it wasn't that bad. And then you told me, like, some of the stuff I said, and it wasn't the most crazy
it wasn't,
stuff, but it was out
awful.
of fucking bounds and not something I thought that I would do. And then, so I thought through it and I was like, well, I didn't know that because I wasn't listening to you. And so, you know what I mean? So
I do think that was like really the crux of it, is that we were having a miscommunication and we were in a loud bar and we were with Jack
but also,
and Haley from the
listening
Doohickeys.
place. And that also is alarming. So that's the thing at this stage in my life. When I act out of what I think my character is, there's a lot of like, whoa, I don't know that you like this. Right. And then there's that whole thing, well, does alcohol really? Here's the thing, that is bullshit. When people say, well, alcohol brings up what you really think. No, it doesn't. A lot of times it brings up some jumbled other shit that's going on in a completely separate sector of your life. It has nothing to do with you.
And you've also been dealing with a tough friendship transition, right? I think there's a lot of, but either way, you apologized more than I would ever expect. I totally didn't need that grand gesture, but God, I felt so loved and so like taken care of, and it really, like, I genuinely think that it made me trust you so much more. I already did, but I trust you so much more because it felt safe to bring that up to you, and because you responded in the way that you did. I appreciate you.
Thank you for seeing that, and I'm sorry, and it was all me, and I just hate the fact that you even see the thing when you do something to somebody. I think this. I hate the fact that you even have to do that. I hate the fact that you even have to think about this. Mm-hmm. Like, I hate that you even have to be brave. Like, I hate all of that. And so if they always say, if you don't like something, if you don't like the result of something, then don't do that same thing again. That's how I approach sex. I've done everything. If I liked it, I tried it again. If I didn't, I was like, well, that wasn't my finest hour. That's not for me. But I know that kind of behavior is not for me. And I apologize. And I think I've actually apologized so much that maybe it's your fault.
That's why I brought food to pick you up today. I was like, you know what? I can't have him, bending the scales too much here. So
if that happened, and then the next day was Sunday, and it was Cinco de Mayo and trivia. So I went and did that. And I was gonna not go, but I had a cast mate from my last movie that she was gonna go, and I was hurting, so I went. And then I had a read through at 10:30 in the next morning at Warner Brothers. And I get there, so everything's starting to accumulate, like the nights of drinking and the everything. So I get there, and I'm just not in the mood to be there. And also, it's like a Chuck Lorre show, and I know him well enough to know that he's going to expect a performance. And at a read through, and my character has Tourette syndrome and a lot of things to say in these two episodes, and I just didn't know how deeply to go, because it's not my character doesn't have a verbal tick, it's more of just like a tick, and I thought that people who didn't know that I had my character had Tourette syndrome, that it was just a whole thing.
Yeah. It's a weird part to figure out how to play.
So I hinted at it, and then I went home for like 2 hours, and then had to go downtown Los Angeles because it was somebody's day drinking birthday party. And we go downtown, and I'm also not. I haven't been in the mood to do any of this. Like, progressively, I'm getting more and more not in the mood to be in any of these situations. So we go downtown, and those of you who don't live in Los Angeles, downtown, it's not the best.
No.
It's really not. It is crazy expensive. It is not safe. And
oh, speaking of that, can you bring up John Mulaney's map of LA that he did on his
he just
show?
He just brought up a bunch of Isaac just brought up a bunch of pictures of downtown Los Angeles. That's what it wants to look like. That's what
it does from this guy.
Yeah, but from the angles you don't see muggings.
Yeah, that's the visit.
And trash
LA.
on the street. Yeah, come downtown. We'll scare the hell out of you.
Yeah, I mean, even 10 years ago, the times that I've been to downtown LA to go to a bar or something like that, I never go there and go, this was really fun, I should come back. Downtown LA is not a destination.
And so I saw somebody posted something on like TikTok recently, like the top 10 things you can do in downtown. And so I was like, is number 6 get murdered?
That being said, when people who don't live in LA talk shit about LA, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Do not say a bad word. I get to complain about it because I live here.
It's like complaining about your family or your friends or anything like that.
Yeah.
They're my people to complain about.
Exactly.
And if you say one bad thing about them, I will murder you.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Or I'll take you downtown to get murdered.
Yeah, let somebody else do it. And he did like a little monologue of the map or whatever, but it actually probably is too long. But he made a joke about downtown LA that was pretty funny.
It's frightening. I mean, I'm never not aware that Skid Row and like Destitution is like a few blocks away from a high rise, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't great. So we did that. But what really pissed me off is that we went to, so I think I've mentioned this before. Canada is master of the upscale chain restaurant. Like they don't have like a lot of Ruby Tuesdays, but they have like a fine dining experience that is replicated in every city, and it's high quality, good stuff, and not expensive. We go to a place downtown called what's it called?
Joey's?
Joey.
Oh.
We go downtown to Joey, and Joey is the place in Vancouver that whenever I'm leaving to fly back to Los Angeles, me, Ty, our friend Maya, and our friend Curtis, we all go there, and I get the same meal. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting that when I go down there, and they don't have it. Americans don't have sweet chili here. It's like how most places don't have buffalo sauce. Did you know that? Like in Europe, they don't have buffalo sauce.
Well, they don't have many seasonings or anything there, right?
Well, they do. Well, they don't in England.
Seasoning dips and sauces.
I saw something that somebody was talking about England, and they're like, it's so interesting that you fought all those wars over spices, but you don't use any of them.
We just wanted to fight. Honestly, we just wanted to kill some people and ride around on horses.
But it's pretty bland. No, but it's just like the ranch and buffalo they don't have. But sweet chili is a big thing in the Commonwealth countries. Mm-hmm. And like in England and Australia, New Zealand. And it's the sweet chili chicken there is so good. I cut it into, it's like they're like boneless wings, but I cut it into small parts and get the lettuce cups that go with lettuce wraps and make my own lettuce wraps. And it's so good. I wish I was there now.
Yeah, I could see that in your eyes.
It's so good. And as a matter of fact, and how I found out about this dish was Jared Padalecki, who plays Sam on Supernatural. I had to eat on camera, and he took me out to lunch to give me some good food before I had to eat whatever they prepared for me. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. So I got that to go, the sweet chili chicken dish from Cactus. It's that. Oh my God, it's so good. And there's little crunchy bits in it that you can't see. Oh my God, it's so good. And tiny little cucumbers. Oh my God.
You're going to make them fly to Canada tonight.
I'm getting out of here. But that's the thing that I ate every time. The production found out that I really liked this thing, because I was like, can I eat this? And they bought it for me every time I had to eat on camera. Oh, so
you could like request meals?
I didn't know. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could do that.
That made me fuck an asshole. But they offered it, so every time I had to eat, they would just go get it.
It makes sense, because unless the food is part of the storyline, where you're like,
they would roll it into a burrito. If I was eating a burrito, they would do anything.
That's cool.
And it was just really, really nice. The only time they didn't do it is when I had to eat those big gelatin cow hearts when I became a werewolf. But I was a vegan werewolf.
How did the cow hearts taste?
They were fucking terrible.
What did they actually make you eat?
They were the giant cow hearts made of gelatin that covered in fake blood, like that corn syrup blood.
Oh yeah.
And the more you chewed of it, the bigger it got. So you had to know the exact moment to swallow it. Otherwise, it got too big to swallow. I'm not joking. It was awful. And they had coated the molds in salt, so it was salty.
Why?
I don't know.
That feels like a prank.
I know.
A bad one.
I know. Yeah, cow hearts. They're not my favorite. Gelatin cow hearts.
Those pink little hearts, those look decent.
Yeah, those are adorable.
Those look like just pink Jello hearts.
But Yeah, cow hearts. Is that a cow heart? The Taste of Montana down there to the left corner.
This one?
Yeah, is that a cow heart? It looks like one.
Ew. Yeah, it looks gross.
They are.
Smoke heart.
Yeah, they're enormous. They're literally this big. And if those of you who wants to see that, you have to go to our Patreon and
you have
subscribe
to, you have to see how close his hands are together.
But
That was the best ad for it ever. You want to see how far apart my hands are? This
Yeah,
is how
exactly.
big his dick
How many
is.
fingers am I holding up?
Check out patreon.com/loadedpod.
so that. But the thing that people don't, when you eat on camera, a lot of times they'll cut away from you and you have a bucket. You literally have a spit bucket. Because once you eat something on camera, it's very hard to eat it ever again if you have to swallow it a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like on a road trip, I can never eat French toast ever again. Seeing it makes me nauseous. I ate over 100 pieces in one day.
Oh my god.
And
100 pieces?
yeah. I mean,
fuck.
it was the one made of like Wonder Bread, but still,
Yeah, I mean, 100 pieces of anything.
But we shot that from different angles over the course of like 7 hours, so it's not that it's a big volume of it, but over the day. Because if you have to take a bite of something and they want to see your reaction to it, you have to swallow it.
Right.
But the only time that there's no spitting. The only time that there's no spitting on with food on camera is when it's a sponsored item. When I did the core, Pepsi and Hot Pockets were sponsored. It was product placement.
Oh.
So I ate 54 Hot Pockets in one day, and I fucking hate them.
Like
now.
full Hot Pockets?
Yeah. Well, just
Bites
the majority of them. Yeah,
50.
yeah.
Wow.
But there's not enough space in my whole body for that.
No.
Yeah. So I
Jesus
throw up
Christ.
every time, and even when I pick something innocuous like peanut butter banana sandwich, I used to love when I was a little boy, I had to eat those in the New Guy, and now I can't touch one. Oh, look, there's Sandra Bullock. That's a Prada hat they put me in. This guy lives in his parents' basement, and that hat cost $900 in whatever year that was.
Well, that's why he has to live in the basement, because his
Exactly.
fashion's important.
God.
I feel like I've seen that movie, but I can't remember any of it. I might need to watch it again because, yeah.
So I think Reese Witherspoon was supposed to play the Sandra Bullock part, and she backed out last minute. So Sandra had to play that part because her character, her company, that like Fortis Films. How I got offered that movie is that I was with my buddy Jason. He was going to medical school, and I was like, I'm not going to see you basically for 4 years or whatever. Is medical school 4 years? It is. And then he'll do your residency. So I was like, me and you will go to Europe for like 8 weeks and just have a big hurrah. He'd never been to Europe, and I was like, I'll take you to all my favorite places, and we'll find some places in between. So it was really fun. And he was like, so we'll backpack? I'm like, no, we're adults. We don't have to backpack. But the kind of idea. And he was like, okay, I'm looking at hostels right now. And I'm like, I'm not staying in a hostel. I will live in a low cost hotel with you, because we were splitting the cost of the stuff, because he wouldn't let me
Pay for
do it.
Yeah.
I paid for our flights with miles, but he wouldn't let me do that, and that was very nice. But I would rather pay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have to. We were talking about this earlier. It's
I
like
don't wanna
when
wake up with
when
a
I
bunch of
used to
Norwegians
make
staring at
money,
me.
it's like I was happy to pay for people to come with me to do things that maybe they couldn't afford or didn't want to pay money to do, because it was something that I thought they would love, and I would do it. But I would rather just pay than go do something that's a lesser quality thing, or that's like a shittier meal or something. It's like, just yeah.
Yeah, the majority of what I'm going to invite somebody to do is go to a bar where your shoes stick to the floor, so everybody can afford that.
It balances out.
But when I do something nice and I want you to come along with me, your financial restrictions don't come into my head or as a factor for you not being able to do it. Like, I would rather pay because your company is worth more,
Right.
and I want you also to have this experience with me.
Right.
So I don't really think about that kind of stuff, but he wanted to make it equitable. So we go there with no cell phones too. I was like, we shouldn't take cell phones. I know. I don't know what the hell I was
you couldn't
thinking.
even get 4 minutes away from your house the
I
other day
know.
without a cell phone.
I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, let's just don't use cell phones. Let's just leave them at home. So we did. So we relied on internet cafes. I was like, we don't need to communicate with anybody back home.
That's basically backpacking.
I know. But speaking of that, so I flew to Chicago to join him so we could fly to London, where we started our trip together. And homie is at the airport with a backpack.
Like a big one.
Like a 50-pound backpack with his belongings in it that's on his back. I have a rolling suitcase and a cigarette in a holder.
And a glove on.
Yeah, so we were going down, like, you know, we'd be in Italy in these little tiny villages, and we're having to go uphill to our hotel from the train station, because we took trains around, which is way more expensive than flying, by the way, but he wanted that experience. It is so much cheaper to fly.
Oh.
So he's huffing it up with you know, his backpack, and he's in really good shape. And I'm behind him, like on the cobblestones with my suitcase going, going. This is beautiful.
You had a soundtrack.
This is really beautiful. And he's like, because people who exercise a lot need fuel.
Mm-hmm.
If, like, I may look not durable, but I'm basically bone and gristle. Like, you don't need a lot of fuel to keep that going. So we took this 9-mile hike between these 5 fishing villages in Italy called Cinque Terre.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't know this, but we did it the wrong direction. So we stayed in the last village. You're supposed to take a train to the first village of Cinque Terre, and then it's mostly downhill. Mm-hmm. We did this whole fucking thing uphill. So he's dying, and he's like, I don't know if we're going to make it. And I'm like, with a Diet Coke, wearing this outfit in July.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a hoodie, a long sleeve flannel,
your long johns.
And jeans. Yeah, exactly. With a Diet Coke in my right hand, a cigarette in this hand. I don't smoke anymore. And he was like, how are you not dying? And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. God, this is gorgeous. And so, like, if shit really hit the fan, I could survive because I don't need anything.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
That's true. You just need a bottle of rum.
I need a dark room, and that'll be easy because the lights will be out.
Yeah. Honestly, the apocalypse is really suited for you. When I went to Italy with my mom and brother, that's where Grant and Mylene met. But
oh, that's right.
Yeah. So Cinque Terre was the last day of our trip, but I ended up not being able to go because there were mosquitoes. We were staying near the, what is it, Ponte Vecchio?
Yeah, Ponte Vecchio. That's in Ponte Vecchio is in Florence, right?
Yeah. So we were there, and we were like right next to the river, and one of the windows had like a little crack in it, and all of the mosquitoes found me. And so I woke up the next day and I was just like covered in mosquito bites.
And you have a thing with mosquitoes.
I'm very allergic, and so they turn into these like massive welts, and I'm just like miserable. I had them on my fingers, so I was like giving my finger hand jobs with my nails.
I know that.
But Mylene like went and got me some like steroid cream and stuff like that, but I couldn't go because I was so miserable. So I was really bummed to miss that though, because it looks so picturesque.
It's gorgeous,
and beautiful.
It's amazing. And hold on, let's try to show it right now. You can pull up a photo of it.
Oh, which one?
Of Cinque Terre.
Cinque Terre, CINQUE. It's so pretty.
It's so gorgeous. It looks like a Disney movie,
but extremely labor intensive.
Yeah. It's 5 fishing villages. We stayed in Rio Maggiore at the end, but I think you start in Monterolo. Yeah, we stayed there.
They should.
And there's a restaurant right here. See where that blue like little cave thing is?
Yeah.
There's a restaurant right there on like right by the cave. And it was owned by this family from Argentina. And we kept in contact with them for like 15 years after that. And then they sold the thing, and then they were of no use to me.
They should start selling like individual propellers where you can like put on a backpack, and then you're like turn into a human helicopter.
That's where they're going next.
Yeah, I bet.
They're actually I think that's before the Parliament of Italy right now.
Should be.
Do we want propellers? Yeah. Look at that. I think that is, I was going to say Vernazza. That is definitely Vernazza. I think it's the smallest one of the thing. Anyway, it's just gorgeous. You're up there. There are people like picking olives, and it was amazing, but we did it the wrong way. We actually found a nude beach, and I really wanted to go down there, but
you refused to show your elbows?
Well, no. Here's the thing. The amount of
my cock is out, elbows in.
I was showing my dick to anybody. There's, no, but there was a nude beach, and we thought about going down there because she'd never had that experience. But I did it when I was 19 in Ibiza, and then we saw people fucking. So we stayed and we watched people fuck for a while, and then we walked away.
Yeah, they do that now in Central Park, and
we had to be somewhere. No, but these were good-looking people having sex.
Okay.
They're Italians.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Everybody had a new beach.
Everybody
in
was
Italy. It's
European
amazing.
and tan, and it was attractive people having sex.
Good times.
Yeah, it was a good time. Anyway, why am I talking about this?
You were talking about the trip you took to the
Oh yeah, Sandra Bullock.
We should rename the podcast to Why Am I Talking About This?
So that is the best idea you've had maybe ever. So they my management sent me a message, like an email, and we get to Berlin, and I was like, open immediately. So I did, and Sandra Bullock DHL'd me a cell phone so she could talk to me.
Oh wow.
And so she's like, we really want you to do this, but I can't really pay you what your quote is, but we really want you to do it. And I'm like, of course. And she's like, well, you should read it first. And so I read it, and I had to leave the trip a few days early because they were going to production immediately. And they had a cast dinner the night before, and she was like, DJ's not going to be here, but I want you to meet him. When you approach him, act like you've already met him. Like, make sure that he has a shorthand with you. Like, she's just so thoughtful. Mm-hmm. It was a really good experience. And Bradley Cooper was in it. And so Kelly was telling me this story on the way here about some, like, TikTok has news that a lot of mainstream media won't run, and there's some producer, like a famous television producer, who was found in a restaurant with like a teenager.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came into my head was, sorry guys, I'm hoarse today. And it's not even for a fun reason. I don't even know why. I wasn't doing anything dirty. But my first thought was, when you're telling me this, sometimes when you think in terms of jokes and somebody's talking, sometimes you go away because a joke occurs to you from that thing. It's a whole thing. And the first thing I thought was, I was like, I bet Bradley Cooper wants to know who that is, so right when they graduate from high school, he can go on a date with them. That's not crazy, because he dates young girls.
Yikes.
I was at a party years ago at Frankie Muniz's house at like 5 a.m, and Taryn Manning pulls up outside, and she's like, hey, what are you doing here with all these little girls? Because there was like Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan, and they, in their early 20s. And I was like, I see your point. I think Lindsay was maybe 18 at the time. But I aged out of it. Some people don't age out of it.
And also, you weren't trying to diddle little girls.
No. Well, they're not little girls.
Yeah,
and here's the thing that's confusing. The age of consent in England is like 16 years old. That is way too young.
It's incredibly young. Like, it's crazy what people... To anybody who knows the age of consent laws in different states, when you're making an argument about a celebrity dating somebody younger, you might be a pedophile. If you're like, well, actually, the age of consent in Alabama is you should step away from the computer for a while and maybe do some deep introspection.
Of a 45-year-old man dating an 18-year-old girl is, well, it's legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some news for you.
But there's also what's legal and what's right.
Yeah.
And they're not always the same.
It's you just can't convince me that a 45-year-old man is really finding something in common with an 18-year-old aside from she's fun and light and doesn't have any baggage.
Yeah.
And I can have sex with her.
Yeah. It's because also everything is, I remember when I turned 42, I looked down and everything had turned to Play-Doh. And if it's happening to you, like, I feel comforted. I want to be around other people who also are Play-Doh. Like, I want to cuddle with somebody who's also turned into Play-Doh. I don't want to have to look at a naked youth doing this. Damn.
I remember those days.
I remember when everything was in the right place.
I remember when people would like go to, for instance, men's volleyball games, and it was like after college, and they'd be like, oh my God, this guy's so hot. And even after I graduated college, I'm like, they all look so young to me. Like, they just look like young boys. I don't know.
I was going to say something about that too, and I can't remember. It was not about young boys. It wasn't going to be that. Oh, it's because I have siblings also who are so much younger than me.
Yeah.
And like, my brother is like an amateur pilot, and I look at him and he's a fetus smoking a cigarette. Do you know what I mean? Like, he will always be 12 to me, no matter what he does. Him and his wife are having a baby, and I was just down there, and I'm like, when I found out he was having a baby, I'm like, God, you're so young. And I was like, no, you're not. You're like 35 now.
Right. It is interesting. Like, I felt that way with my cousins. Like, I, went away to college, and then you come back and you've lived your life and you've aged these years, and it's hard to remember that they don't say stuck in time. And so as they grow up, I'm like, oh, you're not like my baby cousin. You're only 5 years younger than me.
How do you know all these big words? I'm 40.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, I was just going to say something too, and now I forgot.
It's catching.
Oh, the worst is when it's an older man who has a child, and it's like they're dating people that are the same age or younger as their child, and you're like, I don't know how that doesn't become some weird fucking disconnect. But
it's like this. Stop telling me to make my bed, Madison.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to tell everybody you cheated on the math test last week.
But then sometimes I get mad at myself for being surprised that they're attracted to young women, because it's like, that's why men don't get hired in morgues. Like, they'll fuck dead bodies. It's not really about.
I would never fuck a dead body.
Well, I mean,
actually, that would probably be my ideal relationship, because it would solve the let's think about sex and you go sit over there problem.
Yeah, that's true. Are you in the mood tonight? I'll take your silence as a no. It smells in here, by the way.
But I am of the.
Sorry.
I'm in at the stage in my life where a lot of my buddies got married young, and they're now divorced and they're dating again. And I had a friend who was dating a 19-year-old, and I went begrudgingly, because you have to hang out with these people. Mm-hmm. And I'll hang out with a 19-year-old, but not in a big boy situation. And so you'll be at places.
You can be near me.
We'll be at places, and then I noticed that I was constantly being forced into social situations with people who I think are too young to. Well, we're not talking about the same stuff. We're in different stages of life. Mm-hmm. They haven't let go of their teenage angst yet. I mean, they're teenagers. And he was like, one day he confronted me about it. He's like, God, you're being increasingly pissy. I'm like, you're forcing me into social situations with children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're talking about, like, somebody was like, did your Hank got a pacemaker? And she was like, what's that? And I'm like, get out of here and go be young. Run.
Well, and I feel like whether or not people know it, it's the goal is to have young women so that they don't have life experience, they're not educated yet. You can lock them down, knock them up, and then they're not going out to explore and think, oh, there's a better life out there for me. It's servitude, indentured servitude, basically.
But the good thing is, at some point, that guy's going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you'll have an Erica Jane situation. Just hopefully he didn't steal all of his clients' money,
right,
and then you're left.
Exactly.
But yeah, so right now there's a bunch of, But here's the thing: May-December relationships, if the person is 35 and the other person is 70, I mean, yes, you're definitely different. But there's a world of difference between 18.
Your frontal lobe has been formed after 25. Then go for
20
it.
years is a fine. Like Jason Statham and Rose Huntington, they look. I wonder how old she is.
She's.
Hey Siri.
In her 30s.
How old is Rose Huntington Whiteley?
Okay, I found this on the web for how old is Rose Huntington.
She was born in 1987. Does that make her 36, 38?
She's a year younger than me. So she's 30.
37.
She'll be she's 37.
I mean, anyway, I'm not attracted to people who.
End of sentence.
Yeah. who aren't grown-ups.
Period.
Wait, there was a couple I want to comment on. Can you scroll back up?
Start at the top.
Yeah. Who was it? Could you imagine being under Al Pacino and you are Noor Alfala? Could you imagine that? No. I don't want to comment on Cher. I would betray my own people. I mean, Madonna and her boyfriend, I don't know. It's a lot. The thing is, you're just in different stages of your life. Somebody is deteriorating before your very eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, once somebody fully is an adult and has lived on their own and had some life experience, I think in your mid-20s, date however old you want to date. That doesn't bug me, but don't take people, like, don't snatch people out of their fucking nest.
Right.
To bring them into your life, and then when that's over, because you inevitably move on to somebody else who's younger, it's like, what do they have left? I don't know, it's just kind of slimy.
We're gonna get letters about this. There's gonna be some May December people out there.
I hope some people send letters, handwritten letters,
and half of the letters will be from a typewriter, and from an actual typewriter, and the other one will be written in crayon.
Well, that's the thing too, is I think that people that are still in those relationships, a lot of them don't see the problems with it until they're out. You see a lot of people going, I defended my age gap relationship for a really long time, and now that I've like really figured out what was going on, it was fucked up. Like when I was 17, there was a guy that I used to play volleyball with in this like rec league, and he was maybe 27, 28 or something. And he was a decent looking guy, but he started a friendship with me because he's like, you're really good, like I want you on my team, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then it progressively got flirtier and flirtier. And at the time I'm 17 and I'm thinking I'm special. Like he's like, you're so much more mature than other girls, you're special, all of those
like
things.
Grooming.
And that's exactly what I mean, because as a teenager, that's what teenagers are pick-me's. They want to be different from other girls. They want the older guy who's like successful and all that stuff to see them as like more mature and, wow, I can really talk to you. I can't talk to other girls like this. And looking back on it, I'm like, that was fucking
It's
sick.
grooming. It's
We never like dated or hooked up or anything, but he is dead now, but not because of me.
You missed out. Did he have money?
No, I don't think so.
So now I'm at that stage though where I actually I have this thought a lot. I would love to meet an 89-year-old billionaire.
100%.
Like, but the problem is I'm too old. I'm now too old to meet an
that's
89
true.
billionaire. I would have to be the 89-year-old billionaire.
Well, I'll fuck a billionaire for us.
Please.
I'll do some charity. Isaac, will you go to the links that I sent you? There was one video that the comments really, it's the top link called John Michael. The comments are what really killed me on this.
Are those cheese fries?
Do you want to see the comments?
I've got the comments screenshot of my phone.
Are those aren't chili cheese fries, are they? I love chili cheese
I
fries.
do love cheese fries.
Ready?
Yeah.
Time. What you just said to me. What internet do you have at your farm, John Michael?
Are you making a TikTok?
Yes, I am. I'm not going to post it without your permission. Because you're so private or whatever.
Starlink.
Which is?
Starlink is a Wi-Fi from Elon Musk.
You're such a piece of shit little rich asshole, and I hate you.
Okay, you can pause it. So, for anybody not listening,
He's dressed like a little Dutch boy from the can.
So some of the comments are, how old is John Michael and how long has he been that age? Was he on the Nina, the Pinta, or the Santa Maria? What year did he die? He's going to sign thy Declaration of Independence after lunch. And can you get him to say, I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream? It is such a, like, where do you find clothes like that at this point?
I think I saw it. That's somebody's new line. I think he's probably wearing $5,000 worth of clothing.
It's giving the secret garden boy in the wheelchair that can walk. He looks like he's being played by Helena Bonham Carter. Every day he says, can I ride the ponies, mother? The first Thanksgiving.
It's some little Lord Fauntleroy shit going on.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I still would rather him wear that than high-waisted jeans.
Fair enough. Go to Fruity Pebbles.
I love Fruity Pebbles.
You're going to love them even more.
Oh.
Yeah, but what are they?
Start it over.
Wait, what do you call these?
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, but what are they?
Fruity Pebbles are Garrett cereal.
We watched your
Oh, I love that kid. I love Fruity Pebbles though. I really, really love them. It's candy for breakfast though.
Yeah.
They're terrible for you. I haven't had them in years because also Fruity Pebbles are one of the things that when you're in the grocery store and you buy something that they won't last the night. Mm-hmm. Like you'll go.
Just eat the whole
I'll
box.
eat the whole box.
I'm a Captain Crunch girl.
Yeah, it never did that for me. Maybe it's because the sugar content's not high enough. And
it
that's
hurts the
saying
roof of my
something.
mouth, and so that's how I self-harm.
Does it really?
Yeah, it scrapes the shit out of the top of your mouth. Okay, so something else I did was I sent to you. I went on.
No, wait. Look at that guy right there. That's the Subway logo.
That's Jelly Roll. That's Jelly Roll.
See, I also was on the Nina the Santa Maria or whatever, the Nina Pinto or the Santa Maria. But that's the Subway logo. Your whole speech.
I mean, it's just green writing behind on a. I mean, it's just yellow.
The tablecloth is green.
On a green.
But it looks like Subway.
Yeah,
It does.
yellow and green.
This is Steve-O's podcast.
I like Steve-O. Steve-O's a really nice guy.
I like Steve-O too. I know him also.
He's a good dude. I sent you some. Okay, so go to DJ Qualls The Journey. I found a website that makes songs. Play it.
What?
From supernatural to the big screen, DJ Qualls, living the dream.
What?
Road trip, the new guy, he's got the flow.
New intro song?
Well, no, I made one for the podcast too.
That's so. Did you make this?
I mean, I didn't write it. It's just AI.
I do make dollar bills. Sadly, only dollar bills. Oh, that's so nice.
This one kind of sucks, but go to the locked and loaded one. And now I'm like, I want a whole membership to this site.
DJ Qualls and Kelly Blackheart, they got a podcast that's off the chart.
Hilarious.
They're best friends, they're always together, locked and probably loaded. It's podcast fever.
It's podcast fever.
DJ keeps it real, he's got the wit. Kelly's the heart, she's got the grit. Talking about life, love, and everything in between. Locked and probably loaded, it's the best you've seen. Locked and probably loaded.
I wish we had MDMA right now. I hate the people that go to Coachella. Did that say what? 6 feet under? I thought I heard 6 feet under there. Oh, it's beyond compare.
Isn't that funny?
It's pretty crazy. AI is scary. I went through this a couple of days ago. Everything that Kelly sent me, I made an AI reference to it.
Well, I knew that people were making songs with AI, but
It's crazy. It's actually pretty good.
I know, right? And it was literally just make a song about DJ Qualls and his friend Kelly Blackheart and their podcast Locked and Probably Loaded. That's all I said.
Is there a way for me to download this so I can play these two songs when the robots show up to kill us?
Yeah. We've got them downloaded, no problem. But Preacher Lawson, who's a comedian, he's been making videos recently with AI lyrics, but he's doing his own music videos, and they're just really stupid and funny. I love Preacher, but I was like, oh, I gotta go try this.
Is his given name Preacher?
Yes.
So he can't.
It's Jovan Preacher Lawson.
He can't do anything about that. So today I stumbled across something when I was laying in bed about being positive, be a supporter, not a judger or whatever. I was more grammatically correct than that, but you support, don't judge, basically. Mm-hmm. And the very next thought that came into my head is that I met a guy named Mike that spelled it M-Y-K, and I was like, I hate that guy. The very next thought. It's almost like my brain was trying to purge itself.
Well, that was Steve doing that. That wasn't DJ.
Fuck Steve.
Speaking, I know that I mentioned that I wanted to be a catfish on one of our most recent episodes. I was watching the newest episode of Catfish this morning, and it was somebody who was just doing it to fucking get money, and now I've changed my stance. I'm like, this is really sad and mean. And this guy sent her like $2,000, couldn't pay her rent or couldn't pay his rent or anything like that, and she was like, yeah, I do that. I think I've got like 100 guys sending me money.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Guys, learn to masturbate.
Yes, I know.
I'm looking right into the camera right now. If it is not worth it, if somebody asks you for money at all,
yeah, especially if you've never met them, stop sending money to people you've never met. And I see this all the time, like in fan groups on Facebook or whatever, like even in Supernatural, it'll be like, hi, I'm Jared Padalecki, like, thanks for being my fan. And they like make a post and people are talking back and forth with them. I'm like, don't do that. Jared's not going to message you privately to ask for rent money.
The amount of people that have impersonated me on
Yeah.
social media over the years, I had to get into. So I have at DJ Qualls on my Instagram, but I had to fight for that. There was some fucker who had who didn't just reserve my name, but was tweeting under it.
Yeah.
And it was all shit like this. It was like a picture of me that was taken from from a public place. It was available online with a caption like, "I'm gonna take a bubble bath. Anybody want to join me?" And then I got so mad but then I would lose the plot because I'm like, I don't take baths. Baths are like a tub of ass soup. Like,
If you're gonna pretend to be me,
yeah,
at least
exactly.
At least do
I
the
was like,
right
I don't even
thing.
sit in a hot tub. Like I go through this whole thing. I'm like, yeah, right. The point. Stop impersonating me. And like, and another one was like, I don't know what to do today. Maybe I'll just go shoe shopping. I'm like, I fucking hate shopping.
Yeah.
And so then I would just go in about that, and then it took a long time because I was so bogged down in the minutia to get him to stop. You have to contact them directly, not tell everybody how much you don't like maps.
I mean, and the fact that Keith Urban had the nerve to go to the Met Gala with Nicole Kidman
After
he's been telling me
messaging.
he would divorce her because he loves me so much. Fuck that guy.
For those of you who don't know, though, it's not really Keith Urban.
That's not what he says.
It's a man on the internet who's saying he's Keith Urban.
His written accent is decidedly Australian. I'm just kidding. It's just broken English.
It's broken English. We love you, Australia.
I'm sorry. I love you, dear. Do you love me?
You gave us kangaroos and the block.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do no wrong.
I was walking Rhino this morning, and this fucking guy was riding his bike on the sidewalk, which we're in a neighborhood. Grow up. Ride in the street, first of all. But I pulled Rhino over to the side to give him room, and he started riding his bike really slowly, wobbly and all that stuff. And then,
On purpose?
I mean, yeah, he was trying to slow down to maybe see if I guess I would talk to him. And then he comes by and he's on my shoulder and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, I just watched you wobble on your bike. I'm not turned on right now.
Was he hot?
No. It was just
Was he old and possibly rich?
Oh fuck. He might
he
have
was
he might have
old
been
and
a
rich.
billionaire. Billionaires on bikes is definitely a big thing. Billionaires on bikes.
I mean,
That's also my new hobby, is just getting high and fucking coming up with dumb ass designs for shit that we've talked about on here. We're gonna have a whole merch section with just Kelly's high designs.
So guys and girls out there, what we're learning from this podcast is that if you want to marry well, look for an old man on a bicycle.
Yes.
And a guy dressed like he's a pilgrim.
Correct. Yeah.
There's money there. Cargo panties. Kelly invented cargo panties.
Those are going to sell out.
See-
If we actually get cargo panties made,
You think we could give?
But here's the so
I
that
think we could make the cargo panties.
that actually looks like they look unisex to me. They look like trunks.
Yeah. They're just boy short underwear, or you could have men's ones with a little
A pouch.
pouch.
So all my underwear now are the pouch underwear.
Mm-hmm.
So Ty bought me these underwear, but he was like, because it puts your junk in a pouch, so it separates them from your thighs, which is awesome if you're in a tropical climate or you're walking a lot,
want the bat
because you
wing.
don't get any friction. Because for people out there that don't have balls, if you're in a humid climate and you're walking a lot, you get your thigh gets chafed by your balls, which is not that's not a very good design.
No, I mean my thigh just gets chafed by my other thigh, but
See, I have thigh gap, unfortunately.
rough life.
No, guys you'd be surprised to know this, but thigh gap actually is not a desirable trait in men. But I keep my thighs small because it makes my dick look bigger. I think we talked about that another time. Did we?
I don't know.
Okay. So he bought me these underwear, and they have a pouch in front of them, and he was like, "You'll love this design," because I was always, I would always be like, "I'm wearing the wrong underwear for this," but the problem is they're called Saxx, SAXX, and I don't like puns in my underwear. I don't.
You don't like punderwear?
I don't like underwear. I don't like.
You liked cargo panties.
But I was not in a place to receive clever naming of underwear. Saxx. It's disgusting. First of all,
Yeah.
SAXX.
Yeah. Sack is a rough
It's
word.
gross.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Those underwear are called Hello.
Hello. Good Lord. Why I wonder if that part is firm. Is that it's
not.
a dick
It's
splint?
Not. It's not. I've seen underwear like this that are novelty underwear where you put your dick into the elephant trunk.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
Yeah, so it's like that. I'm sure it just.
But where does it go when it's resting?
That it just goes down. That's too much separation.
Yeah,
though.
that's.
But all my underwear now are.
And does the head just stick out?
Look like cargo panties, except they don't have pockets. So that's the one. That's
you do need pockets for your underwear. They'd have to. The elastic would have to be really strong
sides.
because if you put items in your pockets of your panties, I hate the word panties, by the way.
I hate that word too.
But it's fine in cargo panties for
Panties.
some reason. I'm okay with it.
Take your panties off.
You said it like a threat the first time.
Take your panties off.
It sounded very non-consensual, but the second time you're like, take your panties off.
That's a terrible word.
Yeah, I don't like it. Well, I think it's because it sounds really juvenile. Like that's how I imagine you talk about little girls' underwear.
Yeah.
And so when a man says panties, I'm like, oh yeah, that feels. But underwear is not also the smoothest thing.
Maybe it's the IE on the end.
It is. It makes it juvenile.
That's why I'm when I'm watching The Block and they have an IE.
What's The Block?
It's The Block is an Australian renovation show where they get 5 couples to move into a derelict structure and renovate it from the inside out. And at the end, they auction it and get millions of dollars.
Loosely sponsored by The Block, this podcast.
But Australia, we talked about this on another podcast. They have this idea of being like overly masculine, overly like sort of toxic masculinity thing, but they shorten everything. So you have a big guy like, "Hey, do you want to come have brekkie with me for breakfast?"
Australia is very big into like the shortening.
It sounds so. It sounds like grooming. I know that you're just asking me to go have pancakes or pancakeys or whatever the hell you call them, but it sounds like you're trying to get me to a van with some candy.
Colleen and I call underwear chones or chonies.
Why?
I think it's off of a Spanish word, but
Cajones?
No, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. Australian words Americans find weird. Oh, arvo, yeah.
What's arvo?
Afternoon.
Oh yeah, bogan means redneck.
DJ loves bogans.
I do love bogans.
They're fun. They're just like
it makes me laugh when Australians. So if they don't want to say fuck, like fuck me, they do this far out.
Far out.
It's far out. And far out for us is like a 60s thing. If something was awesome, far out, man. But far out. You need to replace
those.
Like,
I can't believe you went there.
You need to redo this painting. Well, far out.
Budgie smugglers.
Yeah, that's for
Speedos.
For Speedos, because a budgie is a bird.
I didn't know that. I always thought it was bungee smugglers for some reason.
A budgie is a little yellow bird.
Oh.
And so.
Oh, okay, I get it.
But I don't know if Australians call their penises birds, but when I was growing up, we called them rabbits. My mom would be like, "Go take a bath and wash your rabbit."
I like that. It's cute.
Yeah, we call them rabbits. England, the little boys so if you're the equivalent in England is todger.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
A little boy's dick is a todger, and we called them rabbits. So I had a rabbit until 2 weeks ago.
Now he's a hare.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, should we get out of here?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Oh,
how do you know when it's time?
I'm just guessing. We've been at it for an hour, right?
55.
Yeah, great.
It felt like 54. Every time with you feels like the first time.
Guys, thanks for everybody who's already on Patreon. I'm having so much fun getting to know all you guys in the chat and all that stuff, but you guys are the reason that we're able to do this because it's expensive. It's expensive to run a podcast. So thank you for doing that. If you want to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/loadedpod. You can also check us out on social media @loadedpod and share us with your friends. Rate, review, subscribe.
Bye, guys.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Sit on down and pour yourself a glass.
Then tune into your favorite podcast,
where things will be misquoted
and opinions ain't sugar-coated.
'Cause DJ and Kelly